you're gonna wish you hadn't done that.
You guys ready? All right, I'm trying to do an intro. Okay, all professional and stuff. Hi guys, this is Spud Hunter, and welcome to another Escape from Tarkov video. Wrong game, isn't it? What game are we talking about? Arc Raiders. Okay. This is the Spud Hunter, and welcome to another Arc Raiders video. Let's get stuck into a new news blog just posted on the Discord of Arc Raiders the other day.
So, without further ado, let's crack straight into it.
I love Pesley, he's a good bloke. Arc Raiders Discord, they just posted this GIF, right? And a big juicy blog. I've only read the first paragraph, but I know what it's about. So as you can see from Meow, right, we have a player, a character in their own domicile, a headquarters, if you will, a barracks. I don't know what you want to call it, but a player house. And a lot of extraction games have it. Cycle Frontier had it, and that was inspired by Tarkov. You know, just countless games do it. A lot of like MMO games do it, you know, guild halls, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, this is where you're going to upgrade, you know, your gear and look at your little weapons that you've collected, and you could put things on walls and stuff. And they haven't revealed much other than this image, a moving image called a GIF.
It's pronounced GIF.
We will find out if you can actually shift things around, you know, put things in the room. I don't know. So we're going to read the blog and see how in-depth it is, because I've only read the first paragraph. Dusty says, "Hello again, Raiders. We're making room for you in Speranza. Quite literally, here's an update from the team on what to expect when it comes to lodging. As every experienced raider knows, the abandoned wilderness of the Rust Belt is vast and unforgiving. Missions topside." I wish I could read, honestly, but that's why I'm a full-time streamer. I failed at everything else in life, just had the camera on long enough, and people like you guys just rocked up. Missions topside are necessary, but even the tireless raider needs a place to lay their for fuck's sake, why are you guys even here? But even the tireless raider needs a place to lay their bruised head and all their souvenirs after a long day of gunning down Ark. Enter the Raider's Den. Shani will be kind enough to lend you a cozy bedroom to call your own. Okay? We're nearly there, boys and girls. We're nearly at the end, okay? We're going to get through this together. We'll be able to read through this blog together. You just hang in there, all right? Hang in there. Cozy might be stretching it. Bedroom. 2. When you arrive, you'll be greeted by a metal cot, peeling decorations, and a door frame with a notable lack of door. But hey, it's better than living on the top side, eh? So I guess it's going to be the old, you know, everything's a scuffed base. You know, you've got a scuffed house.
Come on in. It's a little messy, but...
Damn, bitch. You live like this?
A motivation for you throughout you playing the game. I was going to say wipe, but there's no wipes in the game. A motivation will be, hey, I want to pimp up my domicile. Fortunately, you won't have to live in squalor forever. As you progress through ARC, aka Arc Raiders, your den will progress with you. As players themselves, we know how rewarding it is for you to visually see the progress your raider is making and the loot they're accumulating. So our intention with the den is to do just that. Trinkets you find topside will litter the floors and the shelves of your den. Your best guns will be proudly displayed on the walls. Your raider den screen will be a living representation of your progress. Interesting. A raider den screen. So you know what that says to me, right? Unless they're talking about some visual screen that you have in the game, right? Like that's straight up going to be kind of like the hideouts in Tarkov, where it's just like a thing that you're like looking at. So like Legacy's hideout, Legacy Steel and Sorcery, which no one friggin' knows here other than me and a couple others.
What the hell is that?
And I guess Tarkov's degree. Tarkov's is like moves around a little bit. It's not really that intricate, you know, you're not like in a 3D space. Other than the gun range in Tarkov, you're just kind of like, I think you can just push some weights and break your arm and then go on a gun range. That's about it.
Yeah, let's go. Help me.
Judging by what they said here, like a den screen, I think it's either going to be the same as Tarkov's system or literally just a screen with the character, you know, just sitting there. Kind of like this. It's just going to be your character here, and you click on parts of it and the camera like moves and goes, whoosh, whoosh, you know, and it's like, here's the weapon wheel. Here's you jerking off on the cot. Here's you, you know, some highlights of your games on like a bulletin board. I don't think it's going to be like super duper, like, you know, interactive where you're walking around. It would be cool if it was. Like, I hope it is. I just don't think it is. It's just a load of like development time and resources and stuff that developers sometimes think it's not really worth it for that. You know, it's just like a little space. I just think it's going to be more like point and click Adventureland Nomad, where you just like click, click, camera goes there, camera goes there. That's my guess, all right? Let's see what the rest of the blog is. Your highest value items will be proudly displayed on your shelves, even if the most valuable thing you own at the moment is 15 rubber ducks. Think of the den as a bird's nest for all your trinkets, old world oddities, guns, and fancy weapon attachments. We plan to continue refining the den. We'll also try to get some of those mystery stains off the walls before you get there.
Hey, yo.
Was Asmongold in this room before? Like, they said that the walls were peeling, and now there's stains on the walls? Is this a confirmation that there's going to be a collaboration with Asmongold and Arc Raiders? I don't think it's going to be anything to be too excited about, guys. I think they're just trying to show off little things they're working on to show people that, hey, they are developing an extraction game here with the tropes of an extraction game. A lot of people in this genre, because of Tarkov, they expect a hideout. They expect a player room, a base. So they're giving the people what they want. Is it going to be innovative, though? I don't know, man. I don't know. It looks like the bog standard thing. I'm not trying to be hypercritical, all right? Remember to all the stands, all right, the turbo fans of Arc Raiders, because it's getting that same energy that Darker Darker had with the fans, where it's like a cult. It's like, this game is perfect and it can do no wrong, right? I'm a big fan of the game, but I don't subscribe to that energy where it's like everything they do is perfect, they're perfect, everything's going to be fine, everything's going to be amazing. Excited for the game, but I don't know, like, it's not something that I'm like super excited about. What I'm more excited about, guys, is I'm hoping that they work on random events in the world, you know, so things aren't static. One of the biggest issues with extraction genre right now, particularly with like some of the games that did okay after Tarkov, is like Dark and Darker, where the world's static. There's not much randomization. Now, we're not going to get randomized maps because they're highly detailed, highly modeled, leveled out, designed spaces. And it's not that type of game where there's like modular rooms and stuff that you could just randomly connect. So we're not going to get random maps. And it's not like Rust, where you're not going to get like a random world. It's just not designed in that way. But you can have random experiences outside of player interactions, like random sub bosses, random arc robots roaming around, attacking people where you wouldn't expect a random event like that, to keep the game fresh. I hope for the love of God that these guys have done that, because that is one of the key ingredients that these games and genres fail to address, is keeping the game from being stale. There's a reason why PUBG games and Rust games can sort of feel fresh. Even though it's the same formula, you're not always treading the same trail. Like, you're doing the same things, but it's a fresh trail the way you do it each time. Like PUBG, I'm using, for example, was like the random weapon crates. Rust took inspiration from that. A plane goes over, drops an absolute crate of juice, and it's a point of interest for players, and they all rush towards it. They obviously have elements of that in the game already, but a lot of it's static. When you play the tech test a lot of it's like, it's always the same locations for everything, for the quests, for the things that randomly drop. It's kind of, and the patrols of the AI. The AI is cool, but the patrols are literally like designated patrols. It's always the same locations. So I hope there's more random elements to the game where it's PvE and points of interest. Please, for the love of God, more random stuff, because that is what makes that game feel alive post honeymoon period. Honeymoon period, when you're new to the game, it's all going to feel fresh and amazing. But once you've done those same things over and over again, you're going to see the patterns. You're going to see the formulas. You're going to see the pathing that the AI always does. You know those big Rocketeer ships? There's a couple of them that always hover the same locations near extracts. And that's cool. They should do that stuff. But when you know it's always going to be the same thing at the same location, all right, I'm going to come here with 3 wolf grenades. I'm going to spam it at the bison. I'm going to do this. And it just becomes sort of like rote memory. But when you're playing and you go to this location, a tower, a radio tower, and you go like, oh, I'm gonna do this quest, and all of a sudden, 2 big arc sub bosses just rock up right in the front of your quest, and you're like, bro, this wasn't on the schedule. What? And then all of a sudden, action music kicks in. It adds to that immersion. Yeah, some people are going to argue. They're going to go on Reddit, where I just grinded for all this stuff and I just had this random event spread my cheeks and it ruined my night. Well, guess what? It happens, right? But it was immersive, it was hard, it was challenging, and it made you want to come back for more. That's what I'm hoping that they can sort of pull off in the future with the game. Cool blog post, but keeping us updated. I'm happy chappy. This is good that they're still trying to be engaged with the community and not just cold drop the game. Because one of my concerns is they're releasing Call of Duty in November. I think it's November 14th. Battlefield comes out at the start of October. So in between, you have Arc Raiders releasing at the end of October. This game is sandwiched between 2 massive games. And you're like, oh, bro, it's not an extraction game. It won't contest with it. The concern is it steals the spotlight, the attention from big streamers, the attention from journalists, you know, the gaming article scene and all that stuff, the social media algorithms. All of a sudden, it's all about Battlefield and Call of Duty, and then all of a sudden, there's this game in the middle just fighting for attention.
Hey, don't count on the cavalry finding us down here.
The extraction genre is going to jump all over it, but you have this issue, and I'm not going to say, before people freak out, it's not going to kill Arc Raiders, these two games. Arc Raiders is still going to do fine, but they are losing a bit of that casual player base that they buy only a couple games a year, and there's been this big empty space where there could have been hype for this game and everyone bought it and jumped on it in the last 4 months. Because there's been nothing in the 4 months of 2025 at the start of it for the multiplayer scene. But now the multiplayer scene is going to have 2 giant shooter games, and now you have an extraction shooter game, a third-person extraction shooter game trying to vie for attention. And they're not going to do, according to that last blog, we're not going to have another public test. All right, they're not at Gamescom. They're not going to promote the game at least in the next 4 weeks. So what, are they going to cold drop the game and just expect that because of the tech test being a success, they can replicate that again and have the same momentum? I hope they can. When you are in this realm and you understand a bit about marketing and you've seen other games struggle and, you know, things that should have been a success outright weren't, and then you see the community all coping, going, no, it's a listen-up game. Nothing can go wrong. Nothing can go wrong. It's perfect. I've seen so many people say that about so many different games, especially in the extraction genre, and then it all goes to shit. So I'm hoping, for the love of biscuits and tea, that my concerns are just that. They're just concerns and they don't become a reality, and like these 2 games completely smother Arc Raiders and it steals the limelight. That's my thoughts on the latest news of Arc Raiders.